Hello YouTube, Damien here. Welcome back to Can We Do It Better Than Potter? We're here in the beta, it's Brighton, and we're starting where exactly we left off. I haven't even simmed more than a day. Main reason is we're going to go through scouting as one of the key aspects. That has changed a lot this year. As you can see, the scouting screen has changed a lot. Do not be overawed. The scouting team now come to you with recommendations about players that you can keep in this list, people that you can remove from this list. It's the same as last year, which is fine. Set up a recruitment team. You can definitely do that too as well. And there's recruitment focuses, like do we want to recruit in all positions in Spain, Northern Ireland, everything, etc., etc. That hasn't changed too much. The cool thing I like though is the map. On long-term saves, obviously not in the beta, but long-term saves, your goal will be to get as much of the map as green as possible so you have as much of a reach around the world as you possibly can. That is pretty cool, I have to admit as well. In terms of the scouting centre, there's not been people in there. There's your normal stuff as well. You know, there is 56 people now, but that hasn't changed as well. It matches two focuses, so from here you can set up these focuses, and it's pretty cool too. You've got recruitment focuses that you can set. Scouting priorities, like I'm looking at Garanga Cole because he's going to Newcastle in real life from the Australia A-League. And then you've got match team and analysis, team reports, and your shortlisted players have not changed as well. Now, the window's open. I love that it tells you how long it's open for. I think it's a cool feature too. But that's the first thing I was going to come back to you and say. A lot of things have changed. I'm going to go back to not being, delving too much into this in this episode. But anytime I see a new feature that I think is pretty cool, I'm going to come to you and give you a bit of a breakdown. And as you can see, at the start of this episode, I think what they've done to scouting has made it a lot better, a lot more, not streamlined, but a lot more informative. Instead of just clicking through scout reports, there's a lot more where you can tailor make it so you get the right players that you can do as well. Important to note, players in range, scouted players, that's fine. And I do believe if you go in a new search, there is an option to get a player when you put in your aspects, people that just mature are what you've put in. And I think that's going to be really cool as well. And I'll be back with hopefully some gameplay or some new features for you in this episode. Welcome back, YouTube. Cool feature number 2 for the video. We have the new defensive options in the tactics that we have to break down. Now, firstly, in my system that I have loaded up, I actually loaded up the wrong diamond last episode. In the diamond that I have loaded up, we are particularly an aggressive side that stands up and just, you press and off you go. In terms of how you press on FM, you've never been able to dictate where it is. You always go present short goalkeeper distribution, get stuck in, and press much more often so they go a bit crazy and everywhere. I'm a coach, and I've been saying it for years. I love to be able to set up how I would trap in real life. Now, the way I trap in real life is actually sit really deep, invite a bit of pressure and force them wide, and then pick off passes and go on the break. However, on FM, that doesn't really work. And with Brighton, you want to be a bit more front-footed. So, you've got some options here. Firstly, in the defensive line, you can tell them to step up or drop off. Now, without reading that all out, step up basically means the centre-backs and the people in the back four will look to step up to be closer to the midfield to limit the spaces that people are trying to build up. Now, it does create space over the top and behind, very similar to presenting the offside trap. They've got rid of playing the offside trap for this, but step up is here. All right. You've then got trap inside and trap outside, right? Both have two different options here. Trap inside asks the team to trap the ball inside and force them inside, which is forcing teams into the congested area to trap and win the ball. Now, how are you, Mum? With those trapping inside, there's a couple of things that you can read into it, right? Is the front of the ball in the central end to force chain turnovers in here. That's not too bad. That's okay. I don't mind that. It's not what I'm going to do in this system. But what it does limit to you is players to stay a bit more wider, and really good teams like City and that will pick you apart in between the half spaces in here, here, and here. For me in this system, I like trap outside. Make your players narrower. This is kind of like the narrow and width thing. I like being narrow, compact, force them away from goal in these areas, and that means they're not getting, they're not linking up play in front of your box and finding efforts in and around the top of the key or top of the D. And then lastly, you've got cross engagement. Stop crosses, ask teams to avoid balls in the penalty area, or invite crosses, which, if you're a team that is, sitting deep and you've got big, tall centre-backs, it's actually not a bad option. All right, you cross. I tell you why you cross, because we're going to sit in 2 banks of 4 or a bank of 5. We've got some big boys out here. We're going to be able to header them away, Burnley sort of style. In this system, though, we're going to stop crosses. What that means is we're going to step up. We're going to play front foot. We're going to be aggressive. We're going to be nasty. We're going to try and win the ball back as high as possible. When we do need to get shape, and we will gain shape, we're going to force you outside to do that. We're going to put you wide where you're going to be in 2v1 situation, or, we're going to try and press the winger, so then he has to play back to the fullback, and we're going to go gung-ho and go, once the ball goes wide, we're going to try and win it, and we're going to stop the crosses in that situation. Let's force them wide, and at least whilst they're there, if they do get into a crossing opposition, we're going to go and press them and try and make that ball go backwards. Force them backwards, that's a win. Or win the ball as well. So I really like that. In terms of other things as well, that's the same, and I believe that is the same this year as well. And look, that all looks well and good. Next time we come back, it'll be another key feature or a game. I'm not too sure yet. Welcome back, YouTube. We now have a game breakdown. Our first friendly against Watford. We have 5 goals for ourselves, 3 for Watford, which means we won the game 5-3. But we have got some goals to break down here in this episode, where we're going to break down the gameplay a little bit. I'm going to turn this into just a features-only video. There is some things that happen in here that are beautiful, and there's some things that we don't like as well. But we'll go through it. Now, we're going to go through all the goals. There is definitely half moments of chances that we did miss. One thing I will say, goalkeeper animations look a lot better as well, being a bit of a goalkeeper coach I am. Let's go in and have a look. Now, into the goals, I always play on this camera angle, which is vertical scrolling, because a lot of people ask. I then do, get it to about the H and the Z, and I always watch from our attacking perspective moving forward. So keeper underneath my nose, so to say, and watch us going forward. Now, this is one thing I don't like, is this is still in the game. Tackles falling back to strikers. This is a good tackle. I don't like that. I love the animation, the curl and everything. But that realistically is one thing that I do not like. The rest of what I see from in here, I do like. This goal, by the way, is a bit of a keeper mistake, but that's okay. But one thing I want you to keep your eye out, because I don't want to bring it up every time, is watch the touch and the ball goes in the air. A lot of the times in match engine play on FM23 and whatever, the ball stayed on the floor. Also, balls never went in front of players. It always went to a player's foot, and then the player would, like a fullback, would take a few touches in order to go, and off you go. There's a couple other things as well. But when you watch this, just watch the balls go in front of people. The balls go where they should go in terms of football. And it didn't feel as, it's a game with ones and zeros. It was good. Now, yes, keeper should do better there. Similar highlight to last year, throw-in highlight. Here, though, whatever, I'm going to note it. Normally, Cicito will play a ball in a Lamptey, and it'll be Lamptey's foot on FM22, 21, you name it. And Lamptey will take a few touches and then whip the ball in. Just drink this in. Ball goes in front of him. So all he has to do is take one touch and whip. Yes, it's another tackle that falls well back. Hopefully this is not a theme. But that one I can understand it a bit more happening here, because if he doesn't make a tackle, Trossard scores. So it is one of those things. Anyway, balls here, Cicito. Yet again, over the top. See how the ball's in the air there, the Gross? And I'm going to highlight a few things here again. Firstly, the ball here is pretty sexy. But the touch from Gross is class, because he actually touches it on his chest. And on every FM that would have touched on his chest, previously FMs, and it would have went to the ground. This year you can see the ball that he's touching the chest is in the air, waits for it to come down, out until the boot finished. Second thing I want you to notice is the keeper. Usually FMs, they just come there and they stand, or they just dive and go to ground. This year he kind of makes himself into a big spread, and there was a couple of chances here where Watford hit the post in one, and Sanchez made himself huge, throwing his legs at it. It's a lot better. Anyway, watch the touch. In the air, outside of the boot, keeper went big. He went big. Tried to cover his near stick. Love that. So much cleaner. Now, this is my favourite one of the lot. How many times would you say that this ball goes in the Lamptey when it eventually gets here, right? How many times would this ball go in the Lamptey in previous football managers? It never would. On every other football manager that you would have played in this situation, Gross would have tried to go out, and they would have tried to go out the other side. The amount of times you would scream, pass the ball through the channel, and it wouldn't happen. Or, there'll be some sort of ball in a Welbeck or something, right? Secondly, if he wasn't here, the ball would go on Lamptey's feet, where realistically, the pass and the space is here. This year in Football Manager, the AI is a little bit more smarter. That is smexy. Yes, the keeper should do better. It was their reserve keeper at the time. Trossard's finish should be better, but the ball is smexy. There we go. They get one back as well, because we might as well recap it. But, this is the one thing that I don't like about this game. Is we've seen a couple of things fall to strikers. Is I love that the ball goes in the air here, but there's no way in world that the defender hasn't dealt with that. That's kind of just hit his foot, looped up and forward to Pedro. Hopefully this is not something that happens in every game that, every cross has to hit a defender and fall somewhere, because we saw a bit of it in this game. But it is what it is. Good finish anyway. They get the next one as well, corner, secondary phase. This happens a lot on FM. Wasn't direct from the corner, but I don't mind. But yet again, the header looks superb. You actually saw the player jump and header. You saw the wind up and the bang. And we won a penalty that was actually a penalty. And just to prove it was actually a penalty, I wonder if it will show. It won't. That's fine. It was a slide tackle in the box that never won the ball. There is a lot more positives in that gameplay than negatives. Has to be said. There was, the big things for me, passes going into space in front of players instead of on previous FMs, where it always has to be into someone's feet. The keeper animation looks great, so maybe there's going to be a few more bigger one-on-one saves that actually look normal instead of strikers hitting the ball straight at the keeper to create a one-on-one save. What I liked about it as well was the ball goes in the air off touches, and when the play does something, the ball reacts in a way. It doesn't feel like everyone's stagnant and the ball has to be morphed into this position where it's with someone, so it has to be on the floor and morph. Instead, this year it looks like, touch in the air, looks good. Love that as well. All right, YouTube. I think in terms of this episode, we're going to keep it going. If you do see another bit of, of what this game's about, in terms of another thing, that is a new feature, great. If you don't, I'll come back, recap a little bit about what's going on, and then we'll make sure episode 3 will be our first game of the season against Everton. When we come back, we'll find out what's going to go on next time here at the Brighton and Hove Albion beta save, but we'll also see if there's any other cool features that come about in this episode. YouTube, we're back in again. I just wanted to have a look what contracts and transfers look like. They look pretty similar, but we'll get to the contract string. I have made 2 bids for players. I said I'm looking for centre mids, and Andreas is not the centre mid I would be needing, but he is too good to pass up. At 18 years of age, 5.6 to 7 mil with those stats. He's going to be a wonder kid for the future. Training to play in the 10 or play up front, and the kid's going to be good. So, going to use him off the bench a lot. So, we're going to go and have a look at his. The other one that we put a bid in for, but they haven't accepted it, is a guy I have used on FM and someone that would start for me, and that's Mr. Keferin Turam, younger brother to Marcus Turam, and obviously the son of the big old boy Turam who played at the back. The main reason we've gone for him is, for those that haven't seen what I do with scouting, from 16 to 18, I feel like anything that's 10 or 9 or above will get to 14 or 15. Anything above 15 for me is world class. From when you get to about 18 to 21, anything that's 12 or above gets there. And when you get to 21, you've got 2 years worth of growth. Usually about 23, you stop growing at a good rate. I think you need to get things 13 or above will get to 15. Now, at there's 36 total on-field stats. Most world-class players have 15 or more 15 stats, as in 15, so passing's 15. Those stats, 15 or more out of the 36, and it makes him in that topper end either very good or world-class. And that's what I aim to get as my players. For me, Turam's only got probably a year, 2 years left of growth. He would come in and play most games for me. I can already tell he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 stats that are all 15. And if you count the 14s only, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, he's already getting close to that. Oh, he's going to be a really good / world-class midfielder. On top of that, I think long shots could get there. So that's 14. Decisions seem to grow like wildfire on every other FM. Wonder if it will do the same here. So that should get there. And positioning as well. And already you're starting to go, oh, that's 16 total stats of 15 plus. So we've gone in and made a 15 mil bid. We wanted it for 13. They wanted 17. They got upset at me, so I've offered 15. I'll let you know if he joins or not as well. And then that would be enough for me signing people. Now, I'm going to get rid of that because I think he's going to be really good there, Andreas. And I want to train him to play 10 or up front. Now, it's 36, 39K. This all looks the same. Champions League clubs, look, if a Champions League club comes in here, 95 mil, and if we get relegated, which we shouldn't, you can leave for 30 mil. As always, bang, bang, bang. Wants 70% salary here. Let's just jot that down to 60 and see if you end up taking that. Easy game. All right. That haven't changed a lot. Apart from that, everything else has been great here so far, YouTube as well. So transfers haven't changed. Anything else that I've noticed? Not really much at all. I really do like what they've done with scouting, which I'll highlight as well. Is firstly, I've had my first experience with recruitment meeting. It's no longer, or the first one is no longer just, oh, these are the players we recommend. They actually get you to set up your recruitment focus. They come out and actually say, I think we need a goalkeeper. Here's what we should scout for. And you can either tell them to scout for that or not. Now, maybe in the one closest to the window, it will come up with the players as normal. But what you can do is actually go in and add in a recruitment focus for the recruitment period of the window. And we've added in centre mid. As you can see, we've had a couple of boys come up that meet, the English Championship, all of that sort of stuff, which is fine. Do need a right back, so Hans Haddable could be someone. But what you do is you go in and go, oh, I need this player here. I want him between this and this, and I want him between 22 and 15 because of what the board wants. It's a standard priority, and you set it up, and bang. They have to be very good in that position, off you go. And they will turn around and go, okay, these people meet that. Or they'll go and look at people for meet that. And you can set it up for many. So if you have a goalkeeper issue, centre mid issue, centre back issue, you can set up 3 different ones. And over the period of the transfer window, maybe longer, I don't know. But my thinking is it's the transfer window because it's the recruitment side of that. You set that up and they will scout players under those parameters for you. A lot better than when the scouts used to sit there and just do whatever, and then you'll get a recruitment meeting and you'll skip through 30 players, a lot of them not being particularly good enough for you, and then if you skip it, they still give you 30 in the inbox to go have a look at, and on the scouting menu. So it looks like a little bit more streamlined and a little bit better to get your head around. In terms of this episode, I actually think that is going to be the end of this episode, mainly because we've gone through a few key aspects of what the game's about, a few key features, and I think this is the best feature I've seen so far that's a little bit more game-changing, along with the squad planner of how to plan people for the future. Everything else seems pretty similar. The match engine's freaking great without swearing on YouTube, but as things look, really enjoyed what they've done so far. Now, in terms of what we're going to do next episode YouTube, it is going to be the opening day against Everton. In that episode, we'll either say we got to run, we didn't, and from there, I'll let you know what is going to go on in terms of the save and where we're going to move forward after the Everton game. But from Damo, from everybody here, part of the channel here at Twitch, links are down below as always. Go give it a like, subscribe to the YouTube channel if you want more FM23 content. I'll see you next time for more of the Brighton beta save. And can we do it better than Graham Potter? Hopefully, fingers are crossed.